today I'm going to take this down. I usually use a 7. I'm going to take this down to a 6 today to kind of show you guys, you know, something. But I really don't want you guys using anything less than a 3. And now a lot of you might be like, man, that's so long. And no, right? As I said, this is a 7. It's longer, but we're going to take it down to a 6. But the easiest way I can explain that is, so my mustache hairs, right? This hair on top of the mustache is longer than a hair that's maybe closer to my top lip, right? But what I do is we grow them out and then we cut them at a line. And then what ends up happening is the hairs that aren't as long, they catch up, right? So we all say, you know, everybody, oh, my beard is patchy, you know, I have swirls, I have spots that are uneven. Good. That's what like the 3 is all about. Because as the hair gets longer, you trim it up, and the hairs that take longer, right, those patchy spots, those hairs actually will grow out and get thicker, and then they'll be the same length as the rest of your beard. And that's when you get something like this. So a couple of the gear I have, we're going to use a wall today. It's just, you know, this is what we use. I have 2 actually. As you can tell, I'm a pretty hairy guy. So this one's for my face. I got another one for the rest. That'll be on another video on another website, not on YouTube. So this video is going to try to give you a blank canvas so you can do whatever you want. But the goal is to have that beard as a base. And so the mustache is your most powerful weapon. We'll get into that after we kind of take off the base here. And then the third thing is trim, never cut, less is more. And that'll just kind of be a theme. That's kind of our philosophy. That'll be a theme as we kind of go through here. So I'm just going to take this. It's a 6. Again, I don't want you using anything less than a 3 until you get a nice base. And we'll get into everything else. So right now, let's take off the base. Now, there's one thing that's very important. I left the mustache alone. Now, the reason I did that is mostly for the pirate whiskers here. Now, what the pirate whiskers are these kind of things on the side of your mouth, and this is what connects your mustache. Now, a lot of people, you know, they'll say, oh, it doesn't connect. That's what these pirate whiskers are. And sometimes they take a while to kind of come in. You know, they're kind of the last hairs to kind of grow sometimes. But I'm leaving these alone. You know, I'm going around this whole mustache area with this. And what we'll do is we'll come in with a scissors and a comb, and we'll clean up the mustache. It's our most powerful weapon. But first, you noticed I'm going every direction. I mean, if you can tell, I got swirls here, right? You know, I got uneven stuff. Do you see this? I mean, I let this grow out for you guys so we can kind of take care of it. And nobody's beard is perfect, right? You all have swirls, you all have patches, you all have, you know, this side's longer than this side, etc. This is what this method is for, right? The trim, don't cut, whole thing. So right now we're just going to kind of go over it again. We just want to make sure we get everything down to a 6 as much as we can. Pressing hard. I'm really focusing on the contour of my jaw because that's where you miss a lot. And all this kind of stuff that kind of folds when you, you know, those face folds, you know. You want to get really hard into there. So we're just going to go all directions, right?
Well, the fox went out on a chilly night. He prayed to the moon for to give him a light. For he many miles ago that night before he reached the town. For he many miles ago.
Alright, now this is all basically a 6. We're just going to comb all this down. And you'll notice my beard is not wet. You never want to trim your beard right after you get out of the shower. You never want to do that. Your hair is going to be longer. Some hair that is just, it's not going to look good. You're going to have different sized areas because of that. So I try to, you know, take a shower in the morning. You also don't want to like wake up and like trim out with like bed head or something like that. You can, but it's just going to, you know, mess with it. You can always wake up and do the third part, which we'll do today, which is just the straight razor. You can do that at any time. And that's kind of what I'll talk about when I get there. But again, my hair, it's never wet. And as you can see, you know, this shit, right, there's imperfections, and everybody's beard is unbalanced. There's stuff, it's not symmetrical, right? But we're going to try to make it symmetrical. And the way we do that is with lines. We make lines on our beard, and then we follow those lines forever. If there's any hair that's kind of poofy, and you know where that is, it's where your hair is growing the longer, you know, it kind of sticks out. So literally what I'm going to do, and this is very, very important, and I'm going to do this kind of quick. I would not recommend, so there's no guard on this. Now I would not recommend doing this quick, very slow, because if you screw up, you're going to take the whole thing off. Do this very, very slowly and get kind of a technique down. But you know, right now, there's a couple areas where the 6 didn't quite get there. Kind of, it's hard to describe. So on those areas that I can kind of see, I'm just going to very carefully go over them. Like right here. Just kind of thin that out, you know? Thin that out. That's not bad. And then usually, if this is the first time, right, you took everything down to a 3, it's your first time doing it. My lines, and that's what we'll get into right now, my lines are right under the neck, where the jaw literally hits the neck. A lot of guys like to grow this because they're in denial. Just cut that off. You know, this is where the beard is, not the neck beard down here. It's just going to kind of get, you don't want that. So my line is right where my jaw hits my neck. And then right here are my lines. So if you can tell, there's some hair that's shorter than the rest, and that's how I know. And we'll do that at the very, very end. Right now is the big part, the mustache part. So again, I got the wall, I got these, and then we'll finish up with just razor and shaving cream. So that's all we need. I would recommend, you know, like some barber scissors. Do not try this at home, right? This is just so if you wanted to explain to somebody how to trim your beard, you could use this video to explain to them how to do it. But I'm not recommending anybody do this at home, legally. So the mustache is super important, you know what I mean? So what I'm going to do is mustache, right? You always have hairs that are going all over the place with your mustache. So what we want to do is we want to line it up, right? And this is, again, base. You can do whatever you want after this, but you want to line it up, build that base beard. So there's hairs that are going to be longer, and I like going right to my lip line, like a little bit over it. You want to go too short, because then you're going to get this thing going on where the pencil thin mustache, unless you're going for that. But again, as a base, I'm just trimming up to where my main mustache is, right? Like I'm taking the longer hair, and I'm cutting that, the hairs that grow longer, that just naturally do, and then just taking that up to where they're all even, right? And we'll talk about these little pirate whiskers in a sec. So the pirate whiskers, you know, they're right here. I try to just kind of continue that line, okay? That's what I do with the pirate whiskers. It's tough, you know? You're gonna kind of continue that line. I feel like that's a good strategy. And over time, you'll kind of learn where your base, like where you should go with that base to make sure that's the 3 or the 6 or whatever number, and then what you want to do to just treat your mustache uniquely. So like I see I have some really long squiggly hairs here. I'm just going to cut those off, you know? These long ones that have been here a while, we don't need them anymore. Okay? And then right around here, you know, I got some shit where this is way more bushy than this side. So I gotta like do some stuff, right? So this is custom. Like I'm just, you know, I know. And then here, I always have some that they go the wrong way on me. All right, and now we're down to basically the last part. And kind of the most important, which is like the, you know, less is more. Ideally, you only want to do this every like 2 weeks. 1 or 2 weeks, you're trimming your beard. But maybe twice a week, you're going to do this, which is, guys, basic shaving cream. I mean, we are as basic as it gets. Basic razor. Now going back to the lines, this is where we actually like clean up. You know what I mean? We're going to take all these tiny whiskers off, and that's what turns somebody from having a sloppy homeless beard into having a beard. Like, even if you have a patchy beard and you just line it up, people are going to be like, oh, that's a nice beard. And that goes on to, we always see more than what others people do. We just assume that, oh, everyone can see this huge patch or like the zit, and people can't, man. It's just not what they can. So I'm going to do the shaving cream. It's going to go down here. And this is just to make the hair smooth, to give me a little, smoothness as I trim, right? Beard's towel. I guess that's another thing. Have a nice towel you can use on hand. Somebody else isn't going to use right after you. All right, so we're just going to start on the bottom, So I just worked my way up to, the base. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to scrape off kind of that shaving cream so I can see. And I'm going to be very precise about making that line from my jaw, right? So now we have a clean neck, which is very important in looking like a gentleman. Very important. People that have this neck stuff, it's not a good look, guys. I'm telling you. We're going to do the same thing up here, okay? I'm going to bring this down to where we know our line is, right? Right? Now if you want to go deeper and do some Johnny Depp shit, you can. You know what I mean? But this is the base. Just straight lines. Making it very easy. Navy guys, you can grow this. This is the beard they let you grow in the Navy.
Well, I went down to the Somali cafe looking for
I get very, very careful when I get close to the mustache. It's also a good time to just check the unibrow really quick, Get that guy out of there. And that's it. That's what you got going on. That's the basic trim, right? Basic. Now we clean up. Alright guys. So that's, how you trim your beard. And you do that, the third part with the shaving cream, maybe, twice a week, once a week, and you let the rest of the beard grow out. And then, every 2 weeks, you do, if it's, at the length you want, you do a little trim up. But I would say every 2 weeks, let's say you start at a 3, you get it all the way to a 3. Just do that every 2 weeks until it's getting thicker. And then you want to grow it out more, And then go to the 4, then the 5. These things aren't that expensive, these walls. I'm probably going to go, take a shower, vacuum the floor, then mop it, because that's what it takes to get all this shit cleaned up. So thanks for watching, guys. Let me know if you have any other questions, and enjoy growing your beards.